Mr. Askary, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be with you. I have also learned a lot today, and it would not be wise for a person like me who has never visited Xinjiang, the Uyghur Autonomous Region, nor is a China expert, to discuss the economic and social issues of the province itself, especially after we have received such a wealth of knowledge and experience from all the previous speakers. We have many journalists and writers who write about Xinjiang, but like me, they have never been there, but they sound like they are experts on everything. And that's one of the problems we have with the journalism and media in the West. I will focus on the economic and strategic importance of this province instead, and China's relationship to the immediate neighbors of this province and China generally to the West. It's a matter of historical fact that the majority of the population of Xinjiang and the neighboring countries to the west of it, west of China, are Muslim people. This makes Xinjiang and its people a most suitable bridge to its Muslim neighbor nations. Since the 8th century, after a preliminary clash between the Tang dynasty and the Abbasid Muslim dynasty, Xi'an, the capital of the Tang dynasty at this time, and Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Empire, enjoyed a protracted period of diplomatic, trade, and scientific exchange, which went for several centuries. It's enough to refer to the knowledge of papermaking, a Chinese invention, which the Muslims and Arabs learned through the contact with China, and made a revolution in communication of ideas, technology transfer, and philosophical thoughts over many centuries. That was not matched, that revolution was not matched until the internet revolution. So important was the paper, the invention of the production of paper for the world. Today, the same nations are posed to gain enormously from a similar kind of East-West cooperation through the Belt and Road Initiative. I don't want to mention a lot about the Pakistani part, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, because our previous speakers, Mr. Hassan Dawood, and Ambassador Zahur Ahmad made the thorough presentation of that. And we also had a whole seminar, a webinar recently on that. So I will focus briefly on Central Asian relations to the BRI. The Central Asian nations are, while they are wealthy in natural resources, their historical problem is that they are landlocked. They don't have access to the international markets. So these nations like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan can benefit very much from this development of the Belt and Road. And Afghanistan, which I will come to in somewhere at the end of my presentation, is somewhere between Central and Southwest Asia, but it's a very special position and it's very crucial for all the countries in the region. And China's relationship to Central Asia has been evolving into a positive direction, especially after the initiation of the Belt and Road by President Xi Jinping in 2013 in Kazakhstan. There is coordination with China on all 5 main principles of the BRI: policy coordination, connectivity, unhindered trade, financial cooperation, and people-to-people dialogue. The countries and China cover all these aspects. I will only focus, of course, on the connectivity and industrial cooperation. The Central Asian nations, except for Turkmenistan, which has adopted a neutrality stance regarding political and economic alliances, have adapted their national development plans to the BRI. Not only their trade has grown massively with China, many infrastructural and agro-industrial projects are now integrated into the BRI and cooperation with China. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which initially was a security organization, has now evolved into an economic cooperation vehicle. The Joint Commission on Facilitation of the International Road Transport, for example, is one of the important platforms for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, especially in infrastructure matters. There are several China Central Asian initiatives, such as the Sino-Kyrgyz Regional Cooperation Plan from 2015-2020. We have the Kazakhstan's Bright Road Initiative. We have Tajikistan's National Development Strategy 2030 and Uzbekistan's New Development Strategy. all these strategies have incorporated the elements of the BRI in as national policy. And concerning connectivity, and as I was, as it was explained perfectly by Mrs. Huilin, in her presentation, Xinjiang is connected to the 3 main Belt and Road corridors, 3 of the 6. These are the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the New Silk Road, which goes from also from Xinjiang to Central Asia, Iran, and to Turkey. We have also the Eurasian Corridor from Xinjiang through Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, and Western Europe. That's where the China-Europe Express goes. But to have an effective connectivity, there is a need to upgrade the transport and power infrastructure of China's neighbors to match the development of China's own economy and rapid increase in China-Europe trade, because we might have bottlenecks now in Kazakhstan, in other Central Asian countries, because their infrastructure is not developed enough. And this is one of the key elements which China is cooperating with the Central Asian countries on. In Central Asia, China is involved in the several connectivity development projects, according to a study conducted by researcher Yao Ziyan. The one is it's a long list, but the main ones are the Kazakhstan Lianyungang logistics cooperation base, and it goes with Kazakhstan, China, Russia, Belarus, Poland, and Germany. The Kazakhstan, China, Turkmenistan to Iran and Persian Gulf development project. We have the Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, China, Kazakhstan, and Caucasus to Europe by train and ferry. We have the Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan, Turkey, Europe line 2. So we have also the Kyrgyz Bishkek main road in renovation. We have the Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan highway, the Tajikistan, Baghdad, Yuvon railway. So it's a long list, but there are tens of projects for connectivity, but also renovating the power base, the power generation base of the Central Asian countries is conducted with cooperation with China. Now, there's also a number of very interesting industrial parks being developed together with China, like the Kazakhstan Aiju Grain and Oil Trade Logistics Park for $140 million. We have the Kazakhstan China Modern Agriculture Innovation Park in Almaty for about investment $283 million. We have the Uzbekistan Pangseng Industrial Park for $50 million. We have the Tajikistan Northern Non-Ferrous Metals Industrial Park worth investments $500 million. So there are many similar industrial parks developing there in a similar manner, but less degree as we heard from Mr. Hassan Dawood in Pakistan. We have several very interesting industrial parks. So the development of the Central Asian countries will depend very much on the participation in the Belt and Road, but working intensively with both China, but now Russia, which has intensified its cooperation with China, and also with Iran, which also has a strategic agreement signed now with China, a 25-year strategic investment agreement. So all these things can contribute to Central Asia's own development, and they're using their natural resources both for their own development, but also for export to other areas. So this is a very fascinating part of the world, which there are many myths and many legends written about it, but now finally it can come out to the world thanks to the Belt and Road Initiative. Now, finally, I want to just discuss the question of Afghanistan, because it's all over the news right now, because it's very important to take it, because now a great opportunity has opened together with the great risks in Afghanistan to reverse the wrong policies of the past 30 years of using military force alone to solve problems that could have been solved socioeconomically, as China has done in Xinjiang. It is perfectly possible today to bring together the powerful nations from East and West, together with the neighbors of both China and, of course, its Xinjiang province, to put together a roadmap towards peace in Afghanistan and the whole region based on economic cooperation and reconstruction along the Belt and Road. Now, unfortunately, we're supposed to have a guest with us today, the chairwoman of the Schiller Institute, Mrs. Helga Sepp-Larouche, who has launched an international initiative for peace in Afghanistan based on integrating Afghanistan in the major picture of the Belt and Road, but also that all the major powers from East and West should work together to stabilize Afghanistan and also rebuild its infrastructure and economy. And as you see in the map behind me, our view in the Belt and Road Institute is that all nations should be, including the Americas, should be part of the Belt and Road Initiative, because that's the way we can secure a future, a shared future for humankind. Now, Afghanistan, I can share with you just to give you a sense of the place and its proximity. Now, as you see, this is a topographical map, but you see Afghanistan is a neighbor of China, although through a very rough terrain. But we have Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Iran, and Pakistan, and close by we have India. So this is a very important, the destabilization of Afghanistan historically has affected all the neighboring countries, including with terrorism, but also the drug production, which increased under the NATO and US British control. And we have drug addiction in all the countries around Afghanistan, but also in Russia. So it's very important that all these nations embrace Afghanistan, envelope Afghanistan with an economic development plan. Afghanistan is squeezed between the two of the main Belt and Road corridors. The Silk Road corridor, which goes from Xinjiang to Central Asia, Iran, and Turkey, and and the lower one is the China-Pakistan economic corridor. But Afghanistan itself has never benefited from this initiative. We have the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is a very useful tool now to use because it includes most nations in this Eurasian picture, but also India, and Pakistan, Iran, all these countries can work together now to embrace Afghanistan into a map. And China's foreign minister, Mr. Wang Yi, is on a tour right now to Central Asian countries to activate the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to come up with a plan for Afghanistan. But we believe that it's only through economic development we can stabilize Afghanistan, something which was not done by NATO and the United States in the past 20 years. So Afghanistan should be connected to the Belt and Road, but also the connectivity among the Central Asian nations themselves is very, very crucial. There are many ideas, including from what I mentioned, the Schiller Institute. I've been a member of that institute too, but also in collaboration with Russian and Chinese. There are many different plans to rebuild Afghanistan and connect it and break its isolation. We have massive natural resources in Afghanistan that can be exploited. The United States did one good thing, is the US Geological Survey made a thorough study of all the minerals that exist in Afghanistan, and it's a fantastic study. And that is something which people can actually take a look at. But China, already in 2017, wanted to invest in the largest copper mine in Afghanistan, in Ainak, but due to the security problems and other problems, the project was stopped. So China is intending to help build Afghanistan, but also get its natural resources to benefit all. This is also from the same report where all the minerals, very important rare earth minerals, exist in Afghanistan, so on and so forth. So the Afghani government itself, Afghanistan joined the Belt and Road already in 2016. It also joined the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, and they have put, this is from the Foreign Ministry think tank, I borrowed their map to show how Afghanistan can actually, all parts of Afghanistan can be connected, but also Afghanistan could be connected to the neighboring countries. So Afghanistan has been willing There has been also a trilateral meeting of the Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan, because there is a very important railway project which was approved recently from Peshawar, from the Pakistan, where my friend Mr. Hassan Dawood, our previous speaker, is there now, to Kabul and to Dushanbe and to Uzbekistan. So there is ample ideas how to connect Afghanistan to its neighbors, and that would be the way to establish peace and economic cooperation and secure Afghanistan, so we don't have a return to the 1990s and all the problems of terrorism and which we have seen before. So that's, I believe, is a very good moment to learn the lessons from how China developed Xinjiang out of extremism and terrorism, but also how the Belt and Road Initiative can help bridge the gap inside Afghanistan itself, but also for all the nations involved there. And every nation here in Europe and the United States should be welcome to participate in this, because that's the way we can secure international peace and development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Askary. That was very, very helpful and insightful. I will mention that I'm not seeing the in total number of participants or who they are, but I do want to mention that I have had contact and invited the ambassador, Afghanistan's ambassador to Sweden, Abbas Noyan, to partake as at least a listener, a participant. And I did forward to him the statement that you mentioned that was made by the chairwoman of the Schiller Institute on what the opportunities of the changes in Afghanistan mean or could mean for global development.